Ulrich, nice to meet you again after these 35 years.
Yeah, Uli, good to see you. Good to see you still healthy.
Nice. You remember the joint played in 1967, PN Club?
Oh, yeah.
Was it your first band?
No, my first, well, it was my first band, but
Home band.
when we started, they were called the Lonely Ones.
The Lonely One.
Yeah. They were started in England. The original, the guy that started the band was Noel Redding, who became Jimi Hendrix's bass player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until now, yeah.
He'd left by the time I joined. But that was the way the band started, out of Folkestone, down by Dover in England.
Oh, I see. And was it your first gig outside of London, this Munich gig, PN Club?
No, we started, our first gig outside London was in Geneva, in Switzerland. Somebody told us, well, actually it was a waiter in a club in London who said he could get us a gig in this very swank club in Geneva called the Griffins Club. And it's really for, very wealthy clientele. In fact, we did an interview with a Swiss magazine a few weeks ago when we went back to the Griffins. It's still there.
Oh.
And that was quite interesting. Still the same as it was back in 66, 67.
Oh. But then you played with the joint in Blow Up.
Well, no, we went to Munich, but I think the first gig we had in Munich was the PN Club.
Yeah, PN Club.
Yeah. And we were also doing some film music at the time, locally in Munich.
Was
David Llewellyn. Who was George Morris was the director, yes. Unfortunately, George, I heard just a few days ago, died. So
sad about it.
Yeah, very sad. And that was our first time in playing in the PN Club, and then of course we played there many, many times, either as the joint or as Supertramp, early Supertramp as well. Although Supertramp in those days was called Daddy. There we are. And that's Daddy, that's Roger Hodgson, that's me.
That's Roger Hodgson?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he was playing bass.
Yeah.
And this guy is called Keith Baker. He left. This is Richard Palmer.
He lived in Munich?
He lives here still.
Oh, I will find him.
He was the guy that came up with the name Supertramp, and the guitar player at the time. And that was the very beginning of Supertramp right there.
And how it became Supertramp?
Well, we were called Daddy. This was called Daddy, and we discovered that there was about 3 or 4 bands with the name Daddy, Daddy Longlegs and other Daddy names, and we thought, well, that we should have our own name, and so that's Supertramp came along, and Richard Palmer made a list of names, and I actually picked out Supertramp, so that was my contribution.
So Daddy was a Supertramp.
Yeah, that's when we became Supertramp, right?
And when Brian Palmer left the group?
Richard Palmer.
Richard Palmer.
He left fairly early. We only made 1 album, the very first Supertramp album.
Yeah, 2 albums before Crime of the Century.
Before Crime.
Yeah.
And he was on the very first one. And he co-wrote all the tunes. He wrote all the lyrics for that album.
Oh, I see. And when Crime of the Century comes out, you remember?
Crime of the Century? Oh yeah, that was our 3rd one. That was in 1974. Yeah.
And why Roger goes out and split the group?
Oh, well, he was there a long time. He was for, I don't know, maybe 15 years, I guess. And he'd always been uncomfortable for some reason. He felt constricted in a band. I don't know why. After a few years, he wanted to do his own thing, which, you know, was a surprise to me, but that's what he did. So.
I saw your last concert in Munich.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In Dream.
Right.
Yeah, and I was in public, and you talk about this time in the 60s.
Yeah.
All the people, it comes
I know.
strange to me, you know.
That's right.
I can't talk to you
Yeah.
into the stage. But afterwards, we met us in the hotel with Peter Naumann.
Peter Naumann, that's right. He came to the show the last time.
Yeah.
Peter Naumann being the PN Club.
Yeah.
And he helped us a lot because he, you know, we had to work very hard, especially on weekends. He played 7 sets of music, and you know, he made us learn new songs. He would put us in the club and lock us in there. There was nothing else to do but rehearse, and because the bands in those days, if they had a chance to go and do something stupid, they would. But he wouldn't let that happen. He would put us in the club where you have to learn these songs and then play at night and all the rest of it. So it was a good time to learn your trade.
Yeah, practice.
Yeah.
And when you look back the 40 years, what you learned, what's your spiritual way?
Well, I've learned never to take it for granted. I'm eternally grateful for being able to make music and do it for a living, and it's a very unusual way to make a living. Not many people get to be able to do it. You know, and just stay healthy. Don't fall for, you know, the pitfalls of the business. You know, and keep learning about music and words and lyrics, and I'm always learning all the time.
Can imagine.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the kids living now, the grandkids?
The grandkids, yeah.
What do you want to say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe get into the history, and they do get into the history of the music a bit more in Europe than they do in England or America. The music tends to be now a symbol, you know, against parents, which is silly, really. I think you should always look into history of music if you're any kind of musician, whether it's jazz, classical, or even rock. It's an interesting history. You should maybe get some books and mags of the old bands and find out what you like and learn from that, you know.
That's what I like.
Yeah, there you go.
That for the TV show.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I want to thank you very much.
Well, Udi, I thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I hope to see you again at our TV show, Remember Show.
Well, I remember. Yeah, well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, if we can do it, we will. We will.
Okay. Tell all the best wishes to your wife. So
I will. Thank you.
very nice lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and
Thank
thanks
you.
again to you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So,
One more picture. Hey.
Automatic.
ja. Na schön.
Das ist ja kein Autofokus, gell?
Nee.
Yeah, all these.
Ich glaube, es ist oben. And is it possible that you send me the new records and all the advertising material you have? Just
Sure.
reply.
Sure.
I give you my address and
Yeah. I think we have that. Didn't we get that the other
I have
day?
email too,
Okay. All right, thank you.
and I give you this. This is a self-portrait.
Oh, yeah,
No, yeah,
Oh.
it's all my.
Oh, that's all your pictures
yeah,
and...
I've done, you know.
Okay.
I printed, and behind it, there's my address.
All right, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Louis.
Don't forget the pictures.
Yeah.
Well, the next gig,
We're going to Mannheim today.
Oh, and play that tonight?
Yep. Yeah, we never stop.
You never stop.
Das war, man würde gerne einen Oberschulterschluss machen.
What do you do in the future? You have plans in the future?
Well, I don't know. You know, keep making music. Maybe not always Supertramp, but
What?
do things, you know. Paint. I paint a little bit. Maybe do some pictures,
Oh,
stuff like that.
fine.
Plenty of things to do.
Yeah. There's another friend from the PN club.
Oh, yeah.
You remember him?
Now, where?
No, he's in the darkness now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Many, yes.
35.
Oh, don't tell me.
Könnt ihr nochmal so ein Foto hochnehmen für euch, so als ob ihr euch das anguckt? Wenn ihr jemand da weg, bitte. Wenn ihr, gehst mal zur Seite.
Yeah, yes. Roger Hudson.
Oh, this is nice.
Keith Baker.
Keith Baker.
He came from a band back then called the Baker Lou Line. It was quite well known in England.
Yeah? The Baker New Line?
Baker Lou Line, like the you know, the subway station in London. Baker Lou. And
Bruce?
yeah,
Yeah, be nice, yeah?
you're right.
When he lives in Germany,
He's in
German,
just very close. He's in a small place outside of Munich.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the
Thank you,
best.
everybody.
Good luck for the future.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.